Now for more is the founder and president of IKnowGod.us, Pastor John Amachuku, and former NFL star and Trump White House appointee, chairman of the Jack Brewer Foundation, Jack Brewer. Gentlemen, great to have you on tonight. Jack, what was your first reaction when you saw this video?
Absolutely disgusting. You know, when I grew up, that didn't go down like that. You know, a man putting his hands on a woman. You had other men that would have been around that would have knocked him out before he ever got to that woman. And so it's just sickening, and it just shows you where our country has gone in some segments, where we now men all of a sudden think they're women, they compete with women, and as you can see from the video, they beat women up. And so it's just disgusting. I don't care what word was used in that type of situation. A man has no right putting his hand on a woman like that.
Pastor John, and again, we're not condoning using language like that, using the N-word. Of course not. But it is just a word. And there is no evidence that anyone said anything like that here. I was not there, so I don't know for sure. But even if it was used, does that justify doing any of this?
No, it doesn't. You know, you can't allow a term or a word to have that much control over you. You need temperance. You know, you have to have prudence. You can't walk around trying to sucker punch people, men and women, just because someone called you the N-word. It doesn't work like that. What we just watched is appalling. It's awful. I agree with Jack Brewer. There was a time in this country where men knew not to put your hands on women. But, you know, the Democrat Party has pushed an agenda where men now compete in women's sports. And so in the name of supporting feminism, women are beginning to lose their rights and their freedoms, and men are no longer looking at them in a manner where they should protect them. We should lay this at the feet of the Democrat Party as well. And so what we just saw in that video is a part of a major cultural rot. It's demonic. It should never happen. And I have to add to this as well, the gentleman who initially threw the first punch or the first slap, the Russian gentleman, he's a fool. You don't go into a crowd of 15 people and swing on anybody. You don't do that. If I'm downtown in any city with my wife and someone says something to my wife out of the way, and I count the number of people that's out there, now I'm 6'4", 258 pounds. I'm not fighting because I'm going to leave my wife unprotected. My job for my wife is to provide, to protect, and be the priest of the home. If I get into a fight, I leave her uncovered. So therefore, I have to use self-control myself and walk away and go home. But when you start swinging punches and it's 3 o'clock in the morning and people have been drinking, chaos ensues. And that's what happened. It's not right. It's evil. And I pray that law enforcement next time is on the scene to do something about it.
So well said. I completely agree with you, by the way. That is such a good point. Jack, I have to ask you about this, especially because you are a former NFL superstar. Superstar, my friend, in my opinion, okay?
Yes.
The president today bringing back the presidential fitness test, and it's going to come back to public schools across the country starting in the fall. I had to do this. It was always kind of a pain, you know, when you're in like 5th grade and you're trying to be cool. But you got to run a mile, you got to do the pull-ups, you got to do sit-ups. It's basic stuff. But it was first introduced back in 1956 by Dwight Eisenhower, and it was ended by Barack Obama in 2012. And look at how people look nowadays, starting at very young ages. Fitness is not something that we should be hiding from in this country.
No question. I mean, costing us billions and billions of dollars, obesity, and you have all these kids in these communities. I tell you one thing, you know, what the Maha movement is doing in the public schools as well, you know, what we're feeding our kids. This is the time that you have to use to educate kids. You know, I've gone to public schools and I've seen that they've pulled PE in gym class completely off of the schedule. I don't see how we're allowing any public school in the United States of America to receive federal funding if they're not promoting fitness, if they're not teaching kids how to stay in shape and how to take care of their bodies. This is the time to do it. And so I remember, too, being able to run the mile. I was a competitor, so I wanted to win at everything that I did. And that's the spirit that we need in this country. We need a winning spirit in America, and you can't do that if every kid you look around and see is at the dinner table on their cell phone, if they're playing games all day, if they're eating junk food all day.
I agree.
And that's the culture that has started to be created across our nation. And I'm so thankful that President Trump got all these athletes around to rally to start making working out cool again in the United
I'm
States
with you.
of America. Our kids need that.
And there was always that one kid that could do like 26 pull-ups in the 4th grade, and I'm there on the pull-up bar. I look like Joe Biden on the beach, just struggling for one. But look at us now, Jack. Look at us now, Pastor John. Great to have you both back on together tonight. Thank you.